Now, okay, folks, today we're going to cover support and resistance. This would be like a support and resistance part 3 because Jay has a couple of support and resistance videos on the site, but I am covering some information that is not covered in those, so you might want to take note. Before we go into that, if anybody has any questions from last week's video, I would like to cover that now so that nobody is left behind. Anyone? You can unmute yourself if you want to speak. If not, then we're going to go ahead and get started.
Can you use the Fibonacci for support and resistance?
No. Fibonacci, you only know Fibonacci once a move has happened. Support and resistance is supposed to give you a heads up as to where the action could go, where it could reverse. So that's basically, you're anticipating the move. Fibonacci is once the move has already happened. You know, in order for you to draw out a Fibonacci, you have to have a high and a low. You know, you have to have a high and a low so you can draw it out and then see where the retracement could go to. So no, you wouldn't use it as support and resistance, but the zones in Fibonacci do act somewhat like support and resistance, where the action can reverse. I'm not covering Fibonacci today. I was just talking to Manny about that just a minute ago. He was talking to Jay about it. And if you study Fibonacci, you'll see how it moves. But the thing is, again, Fibonacci works after the move has already happened. And the breakout strategy that we use actually anticipates the move. It's not after the move, it anticipates the move. If you want to get in after the move already happened, like after the breakout happened, like if it's a massive breakout, then yeah, you pull out a fib, and then you can see it retracing back to 23 or 38, 50 or 61.8. And based on how it moves from there, then you decide which way to go. For example, and this is just a bonus, and then we're going to go into the lesson. Let's say you are looking to take the continuation, right? Last night we were watching, was it GN or which one was it? GN? Well, I was watching GN. Jay sent GA. Okay, so we're watching it. Okay, broke out. Boom! It broke out, and it's going. And then it stops. Then you get a red candle. You get another red candle. At that point, you can pull a fib to see from the start of the move, okay, to the top of the move, and then see how it's retracing back, okay? And what you're looking for is how deep it comes back. Let's say you want to take the continuation up, right? You know the market is strong. The heat wave is showing that the GBP is still strong, so it's going to run for a little while. So you're watching it. If it comes down to 23 and it starts going back up and it goes over the high, then that's a very shallow retracement. The 23 to 31 is a shallow retracement, which means it's going to keep on going, and it's going to keep on going for a while. And last night, if you saw, it was textbook. You know, it went up, it came down a little bit, found support, took off again, came down a little bit, found support, took off again. All of those were shallow retracements, all of those. So all of those, if you pull out the fib, you'll probably see it go down to 23.8 or 31. So you only pull out the fib once you have a high and a low. You know, that's after the fact. That's after the move's already happened. And then the breakout strategy, we're looking to catch the move before it happens, or as it's happening. Does that make sense? Yeah, and I don't know if...
Yes, sir, that makes plenty of sense.
Say again? Are we good? We good to go? Okay, going on. Support and resistance. I wanted to cover how to draw it correctly. We've had a lot of questions on the group messenger, and I don't know if it's because people are not watching the videos, they're not studying, or what, but it seems to me that people are confused as to how to draw it out correctly. So let me share the screen. Okay, can you guys see it? I'm looking here at GBP, JPY. Let me make sure this is the one I wanted to open. No, that's not the one I wanted to open originally. Okay, this one. This is basically how you're going to go to the chart when you first go to set it up. You should have it naked. You should have nothing in it. No moving averages, no pivots, no zones, no nothing. If you are trying to trade the same pair over and over and over, then perhaps you have the zones there from the day before. And that way that will help you see where the action could go and what's happening as far as support and resistance. But originally you want to start with a naked, this is what they call a naked chart, okay? So basically what you want to do, first thing you want to do is you want to zoom out. You want to zoom out so you can get a bigger picture of what's going on. And this is the daily. And the reason why I'm using the daily is, we don't usually draw it on the daily, but I'm pulling the daily because it's easier to see, okay? And once you get used to seeing it, then it'll be easier for you to see it on the lower time frames. So if you zoom it out, and you can zoom it out, let's say this is the original chart, you zoom it out 5, 6, 7, 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say. Okay, we lower a little bit so we can see more of the chart. Okay, all right. So based on this, you want to look to see what are the what's obvious to you from this that must be a zone. Okay, so from the very top, this is obvious, right? Let me go ahead and open my toolbar here. This is obvious, right? This is the very top, so that's obvious. That's one. Okay, Joe Giunta does this. He usually goes finds the top, finds the bottom. Okay, this one right here. Boom. Oops, what happened? All right, there you go. Okay, so right now we have the high and we have the low. This is the daily, so obviously this is a huge range, which you're not going to use to trade unless you're a swing trader. Okay, I'm just showing this so you can see how to connect. Okay, what other zones are available? Here's one, right? And the way you know for sure if it is or not is, does it touch anywhere else? Here it touches, here it touches, here it touches. So that's another zone. Okay, and in fact, this one over here, these two little ones over here connect through all of those, but let's just stay with these. Okay, we basically took this fake out over here, although it could also be a zone depending on where it ranges over here with the other ones. Okay, you don't want to put too many on the chart because then it's just going to become a mess, and what you're looking for is simply real small areas. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean small areas. I meant you're going to narrow it down to a smaller chart. And so you don't need to be putting a lot of lines. That's just going to throw you off. Okay. So if you're having difficulty seeing this, if you have a hard time, here's another one, right? I'm going to put one more so you can see it. We'll do a couple charts. Okay. There's another one. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Here's a 4th touch, right? Over here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. All these are zones. 1, 2, these are the bottom. Look how it reacts from the bottom. It touched, boom, it took off. Touch, boom, it took off. Touch, boom, it took off. This is a very strong zone. Okay, that's probably because it's been going down for such a long time. It finally found the bottom. Which, by the way, where's the action right now? Its action is right here. So what can we expect is going to happen? This is where it's at right now, right? Bounced up, bounced up, bounced up. Eventually it's going to break, but it hasn't. So if it breaks through here, if it actually breaks, this is going to be a strong break to the downside. Something to keep an eye on GCAD. But beware of the fake out because, again, it's a very strong zone. If you're having a hard time seeing this, one thing that I learned to do in the beginning that made it easy for me was make the candles into lines. The way you do that, and if you can't, if I'm going too fast, let me know, please. You click on here, candles. You turn them into lines, the chart, and now this may help you. wherever you see the spikes, like those, okay, those are zones of reversal right there. You know, those are zones. And this is obviously the same chart, but this may help you see it. So if you can't see it with the candles, turn it into lines. You see the little pointy parts? That shows you where the strong reversal zones are, okay? Let's turn it back into lines, into candles. Any questions related to that?
Do you use the wicks as zones?
Well, if you go, this is another thing. So this is the daily, right? We already marked it up. Let's say we're looking for a trade. I'm going a little off script here, but this is good. Okay, so we go down to the 4 hour and see, because those wicks are actually a whole bunch of candles, because that was a daily. So those wicks are a whole bunch of candles as you come down lower. Now look how far that is from the action. Obviously, we're not going to use that if we're scalping, right? So we're now at the 4 hour. And now I'm just going to grab this one instead of making another one and bring it down to there. Okay? Because that has been bumping his head there over and over and over and over. Okay? So that is closer now to the action, and this is still the bottom. Okay? So that's the 4 hour. Okay? Go down to the 1 hour. What is it looking like? Okay, now you can get that even tighter, right? You can get that even tighter. If you want to keep this here, you may want to keep this here just because that shows you where the 4 hour top is, okay? So I would keep it there and then just draw another one down here, okay? Now I know that if it breaks through here, this is where it's likely going to go, all right? So yeah,
one of my problems was I keep moving that trend line, but I feel like I bring it closer to the action.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I don't know if I'm really supposed to be doing that. Am I changing like?
No, that's exactly right. Okay. That's exactly right. I mean, this is the hour chart. This is the hour chart. And like I told you last week, these are days. These breaks are days. Look how long the action has been, how many days the action has been in this zone. I mean, that's, how many days is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over a week. It has been in there, okay? So no, this is accurate. This is correct, okay? Then, since again, we're scalping, okay? You can bring it down to the 30-minute and tighten it more if you need to. Right now, it doesn't look like you need to tighten that anymore, okay? It did go below it here for a little bit, but it came back above it, and it's hugging it. It's hugging it like it wants to break down. And remember, this is why you do top-down analysis, and remember from the daily that this is a very strong zone. Very, very strong. It bounces ridiculously strong to the upside when it hits this, but it hasn't. It's been hovering here. It's been hovering here. It's been hovering here. So if this breaks, this could go for a while. Okay. It may be. Let me see daily. It may be. You may have to pull out the weekly just to see how far back. Okay. So this is the weekly. This is September of 2017. It hasn't been this low since September of 2017. So that kind of tells you. If it breaks from where it's at right now, I expect it to hit right around here, because look how it reacted at that place. And if it breaks that, then down here. But that's hundreds of pips from where it is right now. Let's pull it up. Here's a ruler. Go there. That's 239 pips. So there's plenty of room. If it breaks and it just goes to this zone over here, that's 56 pips. If it breaks and it continues down, that's 123 pips. So basically you have TP1, TP2, and TP3 if you're into that. If you're into making, hundreds of pips. But our strategy is not that, because we want to create consistency with everybody. Once you have consistency, then you can start stretching your imagination with all this. But Any questions related to, let me go back down to the 30-minute. Okay. And then you can make this bigger by just grabbing the numbers and stretching them. That allows you to see a little better what the action is doing right now. Okay. And this is basically how we build our charts. This is how Jay does it. This is how I do it. We go from the daily, see the action, see where it's at, see the zones. And again, somebody was asking me several times last night about the zones, whether we do it from the wick, from the body. It's an area, okay? It's not a number. I put that line there so that I could have a good idea of the touches. But the zone is not that. Obviously, all of this down here happened while still respecting the zone. It came back up to it, right? So all of this is a zone, really. You know, I have to be very careful because all of this down here could come into play. Okay? In fact, depending on how many pips there are there, let me see. That's 80, what is that? 86 pips? Okay. Then I'm gonna make that zone down here. And I'm gonna play it like this. If it bounces over here, it's gonna go. But if it breaks through, this is when
that bottom.
It's gonna come down here. Exactly. So if to the bottom is 86 pips, and to the top, it's forever. To the top is 270 pips. And that's because it's been falling for a very, very long time. So any questions related to that? I think that's pretty simple, but I think people get confused again because of the
I'm being able to get out. It's clear now that you should actually make your zones from the higher time frames. Because one mistake I've been doing, I make my frames, my zones from the 15 and the 30. So
Okay.
it's good to know. Yeah, it's good to know that it's better from the higher frames.
Yeah, for example, if you're going to trade on the 30-minute, then you want to draw your lines no lower than the 1 hour. You know, you want to draw them at the 1 hour, the 4 hour. If you're gonna trade on the 15-minute, then the hour to the 30-minute could work. Yeah, because again, you're looking for a certain amount of pips. And again, it depends on what kind of trader you are. If you are a swing trader, you're looking to make 100 pips, then obviously you need the bigger time frames. But if you are a scalper, and there are people who trade to only make 5-8 pips, then they can trade on the 5-minute chart because they're only looking for those quick moves. But that's crazy to me. Okay, I think I've pretty much covered that. And if you have any questions related to it, obviously feel free to ask. But this is how you draw out the zones. And you're looking at the areas of support and resistance. Let me do the candle to wick. Okay, so let's say I wanted to draw, let me put that line back here again. Let me say I wanted to draw the zone here. Let me open this up so you can see it clear. Okay. All right, we know that's the bottom, and we can see this wick all the way down here. Okay, now this is the 30 minutes, so I don't have any problem with going ahead and marking that like that, covering the entire wick or most of the wick at least. Okay, so that's my bottom zone. Oops. Okay, and then top zone, well, the action is above it right now, so it doesn't matter. If I was looking for a sell, then this is all I would draw. I wouldn't even draw one up here because I'm waiting. You know, this has been a massive sell forever, GCAD, for a long, long time. So if I'm expecting it to continue to go down, then I would just draw this and wait for the action to break the zone, not the line, break the zone. Once it breaks the zone, let me draw something out. let's see. Once it breaks the zone, okay, I'm waiting for it to come back into the zone as a retest. If we're waiting for the retest, I'm looking for it to come back into the zone. It does not have to touch the line. It's the zone that we're interested in, okay? Touches the zone, stops, continues. Once it reaches here and it touches that, especially if it's closed, right? Because that's what I look for. Then you're good to go. All right.
Do you
Now,
always look for the close?
I consistently do. I don't always. Last night I lost money twice on GJ because I didn't. You know, twice. That's annoying. That's annoying. But I saw the momentum that it was carrying. Everything else was carrying with such momentum. GBP was carrying such momentum. And Jay and I had talked about how GN was the tough one. It was a tough nut to crack because it was strong. But in fact, it was GJ that would turn out to be the strongest. I made money on GN really easy. And then GJ faked me out twice. It took me till what? Well, almost till 2 o'clock this afternoon to get my money back. I got my money back on US 30. But that was that. So that's why I say always wait for the retest, you know. But I know people, and sometimes it doesn't retest, and that's frustrating, you know, especially with gold, man. Gold can go. Oh, and GN, by the way, GN. I was talking to Jay, and I pointed out that last week, twice in a row, GN never retested, and it went orderly. There was nothing dramatic. It just kept going down, kept going down, kept going down, kept going down. 80 pips, 80 pips, just on a nice little ladder. And I'm thinking, shoot, I could have taken that on the breakout because there was no violent moves. You know, it wasn't wicking out. It was just going. So I'm liking GN. I think I'm going to be trading that a little more. And it could be that's how it's reacting right now, by the way. That may not always be the case. If I had years of experience on me, I could say, well, that's how it does every summer, but I don't really know. All I know is that that's what it's doing now. So does that make sense on the zone, by the way? On the retest of the zone? You're not waiting for it to come to the line. You're waiting for it to kick the zone. Now, once it touches the zone, by the way, it could come back down. It could go back up and touch it again. It come back down. It could go above it, you know, break through. If it's a real holding of the zone, it's just going to fake out like it's going up and it's going to come back down. If it closes above, it could be a signal to get out. And that's better than waiting 30 pips to get out. Okay? And I'm just talking about.
I gotta get out of here, man. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Oh, you got to go? Take care, man.
Yeah, I gotta go.
No problem. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. So now somebody else is going to have to ask the questions because Manny's gone. Okay.
I got a question.
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah. You already know when I was, I see, I don't know, I'm trying to get this right. But anyway, I see how you got the support and resistance.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just trying to, because I see right now I thought, first let me ask you about drawing the support and resistance. You said draw it from the wick to from the body to the wick.
No, you draw that's, once you have the support and resistance lines set up, the areas, then you draw your zone from the body to the wick, like what I just did here.
So it's outside of the support and resistance is the zone.
For me, yes. Some people might prefer, like, for example, okay, so this is the zone. Some people might just take that line and put it right down here in the middle, right? Because that's already figured out this is the zone. But to me, that doesn't show me the breakout happening. I put the line on the body because none of those bodies were able to close below that line. So by putting it on the body, once it breaks through the line, I can see, okay, it is breaking through. Okay? If I put it over here, I can see it's entering the zone, but I can't really notice that it's breaking through. This is just my preference. You can do it whichever way you want to. You could put the line down here at the bottom if you want. You know, there was a lot of discussion last night about that on, I guess it was GN, because we were looking for a sell. I was looking for a sell on GN, and it turned into a buy, and I took the buy because it was obvious that it was not going to break through. It was going to go up. So, so some people might put it down here. Some people might put it at the top. Some people might put it in the middle. My preference is the body. And then I draw the zone all the way to the wick. And now I can see it breaking through the line into the zone, which GN did yesterday, by the way. GN broke the line, stayed in the zone, played in the zone, and then started boom, 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 going up. Okay? It couldn't break through. Which, by the way, may be what happens with GCAD. Because we've already determined that this is a very strong zone. It's not this one, by the way. It's this one up here. It's the
So Robert, so if it closes, if it breaks through the line and then closes up within the zone, is that a breakout?
To me, no. It has to break out the zone.
The zone, okay.
It has to break all the way through the zone.
All the way through the zone,
Yeah,
okay.
and we saw it on GN last night. I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I have. Let me see. I'm gonna mess up my chart. See if I change it.
Sorry.
No. It's okay because I was gonna pull up. Well, I can pull up GN right here. I can pull GN. Okay, GBP NZD. Let me see if I have it from last night. It doesn't look like a. It doesn't look like I have it. I thought I had drawn it out. I think I have it on my MT4, but I don't have it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it here. Nope, it's not here. Okay, so let's go back. What was that? GCAD? GBPCAD. Okay. But on GN last night, and I can show it here. On GN last night, it went into the zone. The action went into the zone. And everybody's like, it broke out. It says, no, not yet. It wicked all the way through, in fact, and it came back up, you know? And it came back up. Well, no, it didn't close below it, you know what I mean? And then it closed below the line, and it stayed there, and it stayed there. And it wicked out again, and it came back. So it was trying to break, but it couldn't. And once it couldn't break, and it mounted the line again, it gave me one, I think it's called Three Little Soldiers. One green candle, two green candle, three green candle, and it got on top of the 50 moving average. And once it got on top of the 50 moving average, I took it as a buy. Because once it goes over the 50, and we're going to talk about moving averages also as support and resistance. Once it jumped on that 50 moving average, I thought, okay, we're going for a ride here now. And sure enough, it just kept going and going and going and going. Just a moment, it looked like it was going to sell, but it didn't.
But in this case, you want the price, what you see right there, you want the price to come down because this is a selling, setup, I guess. So you would want the price to come down and retest the zone and then take the buy. I mean,
depends. Again, this is why we say don't have a bias. You know, you don't want to have a bias for a sell or a buy. You're just watching what's happening. You know, people constantly ask, are we selling? Are we buying? We don't know if we're selling or we're buying. We're just waiting to see what happens, you know? So for example, right now the action is up here. And let's say, and we know that this, hold on, let me get this out. Let me move this. I'll just close it out. This is not the zone. This is the zone that we found on the daily. Okay, let me remove this. On the daily, this is a very strong zone, all right? So we would draw out, let me see what I see here. In this case, the wicks are above, but I'm not gonna move my line because I already drew that line on the daily and I know that that's a very strong zone. So instead, I just move my shade to touch the body and covers all those wicks, okay? Now I'm waiting for this to break through here. What's most likely to happen, Jeff, though, is it's gonna mess around here and it's gonna take off to the top, because we already know from previous that this is the low. It hasn't been this low since 2017. If it breaks through, though, we also know that it hasn't been this low since 2017, so it's gonna run for a little bit, okay? And if all it does is runs to the bottom of this zone right here, because this is another zone, it's a minor zone, but it is a zone right here, then we know that from breakout to there, it's 32 pips. So we're good, you know, for 20 pips, for sure, you know. But my preference would be for this to bounce from here and go up. Again, I don't have any moving averages on this chart right now because I wanted to show it as naked as possible. But if you open the moving averages on this, that is the 50. And the price action is above it. So I'm not taking a sell here unless it breaks that 50. That 50 plus the zone tells me this is a very strong buy signal. Very strong buy signal. But again, I'm not going to assume it until it actually happens. It will show it to me, okay? And if I wanted to take a buy here, I would wait for this price to come down and touch that 50. Look how aggressive this got once it got over the 50. I mean, it's underneath it, underneath it, underneath it, underneath it, can't get over it. It broke through, and when it broke through, wham, okay? Now it came back down and it tested the zone and the 50. Wow, I mean, that's powerful, okay? Boom, it takes back up, but it didn't go as high as this one. All of these are lower highs. All of these are lower highs. So this is a flag pattern, isn't it? If you look at it, all right? I'll put it all the way down here. This is a flag pattern. So this is likely to keep bouncing here, 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 here. It's gonna get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and then it's gonna go boom. Or to the bottom. One of the two. We don't know which way. But it is right now a bullish flag. This right here, especially with the 50, that's telling me this is a very strong buy. So I'm gonna be looking for a buy. But again, I'm gonna be looking for a buy, but I'm just gonna watch to see what happens. And then I'm gonna react to what happens. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So with let me see. So with the far as you marking up the zone, like I don't know if you remember when I showed you that screenshot. I had too many zones. So in other words, just focusing right there exactly where price is. Don't put no zones nowhere else. I mean, I guess
I would say for you in the beginning, yeah, just do that. Just do that. Just focus right here on what's going on. As you're drawing out your charts. But don't take any trades until you know it for sure. You know what I mean? Take the trades that Jay is putting out. I'm going to put out trades. Take those and see how it reacts to our zones. But do practice your zones. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think it's going to do you good to have that many zones on your chart. That's going to confuse you. I could have as many charts in my zone as I want to because I know what it's doing between the zones. But I don't think that's going to help you. It's just going to confuse you. Right. So this is a very strong zone, okay? And when this bounced from the bottom, it came up here, and it couldn't get past it. In fact, it's been going down, 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 down. So as someone who's only looking to make 20, 30 pips, this is a good zone right here. This is it right here for me. I mean, that's not a lot of pips to that wick. Okay, that's only 13. So maybe I'll draw that up a little bit so that I can put the zone completely covering that wick. But I see this as a buy. You know, I see this as a very strong buy. But we're gonna find out tonight. Okay, let me go on because otherwise I'm going to run out of time. I can't cover the things here. And then if you have any questions, I'll cover them in the end. So now I wanted to cover why is it that these zones actually work? Why is there zones of support and resistance? And the reason why there's zones of support and resistance is because of the psychology of the traders. Going back to psychology, as you know, I love the topic and I studied it, so I like to use it. Here's a good example, okay? Right here, let's say there was a ramp up, right? You can see this massive ramp up, okay? Bullish move. And then it came back down to the zone, which I had drawn from before, and you can see all the touches. So obviously that's a zone. And it wiggled out, wiggled out, wiggled out, wiggled out. When it came back over here, buyers were looking to buy, but were a little tentative. They were just waiting to see what happened. And sellers were anticipating that because they had already touched, it will probably go back down. So sellers jumped in here, okay? And it came down, all right? And it touched this bottom over here. And at this point, buyers came in and it started moving back up. The buyer from up here who wanted to break this out probably took this buy over here because he's on the zone. Or if he didn't, they're just watching it, right? Seller was trying to profit from here, but he didn't get out, right? This seller right here didn't get out because he was hoping it would keep going down, maybe down to down here, okay? Didn't get out, and now it moved against him. Goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. It touches that line. Now the sellers who were over here that didn't get in here jump in here, right? Because they see the pattern, okay? So now you have sellers that jump in here and they get in and it goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. Now the seller that didn't get out over here hoping they would go down gets out over here with profit. So it goes back up, goes back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Touches the line again, more sellers come in, so more pressure, and it pushes down further than before, okay? Now the buyers already know this is a pattern, so touches here, they jump back in. And basically this is the game the buyers and sellers are constantly playing over and over, trying to figure out where the market is going to go. And when the price is ranging like this, it's easy. I mean, people with lots of experience can see this. Now this is the daily, so can see this and they can be making money for a very long time, a whole month of making money. Comes down here, they buy. Goes out there, they sell. Comes down here, they buy. Goes up here, they sell. And again, goes to show you, by the way, that this is a zone and not a line. Okay, the price action came over here, didn't touch it, but bounced back up. Why? Because it's a zone. It's not a line. Okay, so this is some of the psychology that happens with buyers and sellers. And if you have been in it, it's like me. I've been in sales where, okay, I'm hoping it's going to get to a certain point, and it didn't. And it goes back up. Now I got to wait. I got to wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait because my profit is not enough, or now I'm in drawdown. It starts coming back down. Once it gets close enough to where I was before, I'm not going to wait to see if it's going to hit my point, because last time I missed out and I ended up in drawdown. So now I take my profit. That's like the people right over here, okay, who took profit over here because they didn't want to take the risk of it going back up. But because they got out, it went back up. So I guess what I'm saying is these zones of support and resistance become like self-fulfilling prophecies. Price doesn't have to stop there. It doesn't have to go up there and it has to have to come down there, but it does because people are anticipating that it will. And so that's how they buy and they sell. And so what you and I do is, by the way, is watching this action. And instead of getting caught in the middle of this craziness, we just wait. We wait for the breakout. Boom, it broke out. And this is a real breakout. This is a fake out. The real breakout. Right? We take it. Boom. Once it reaches our goal, we get out. Now, if we didn't get out and we're watching it go back up, now we're freaking out. Okay? Depending on your lot size, you may have to wait. And so it does all this, also this, also this. It comes back down. Once it wicks, we're out, right? Because we already know what happened here before. And sure enough, there's a reaction there again. It goes back up. But again, notice how this reaction up didn't go as high as this one. So this tells me this is going down, okay? And it's touching again. So it's very likely that's gonna continue down. But we don't guess what's gonna happen, we just watch it. If it doesn't, it could bounce back up. It probably bounces from here back to this action right here, and then it comes down, okay? Does that make sense? Any questions? I'm going to talk about moving averages now as means of support and resistance. Moving averages, another name for moving averages is dynamic support or resistance. What you see here in this chart is the 8, and I've had to put these in here because I had already taken them out. The 8 is this color. The 20, the 8 is a exponential moving average. And why is exponential? Because you want to see what the action is doing right now. Simple moving average is the average of all the candles for a certain amount of time. So the 20 is a simple. So the average price of the last 20 candles. The 50 is a simple moving average also. So it's the last 50, the average of the last 50 candles. But the 8, we use it as exponential because exponential gives the last few candles, the last 3, 5, 6 candles, it gives it more weight. Actually, since it's 8, the last 3 or so candles, it gives it more weight because that's where the action was. And it kind of gives us a more accurate idea of what's happening right now. So, moving averages as support and resistance. You can see how the action here is respecting this 8. It comes down, it touches it, goes back up. It comes down, touches it, goes back up. Okay? And once it broke through the zone with that help of that moving average, it really exploded. Okay? Then it came back, then it broke the 8 and it came to the 20. And now the 20 is the support. And it goes back up, touches the 20, goes back up, touches the 20, goes back up. Keeps playing with that. Okay, here it came down to the 50. Okay, now it broke the 8, it broke the 20, but it couldn't break the 50. Now the 50 is acting as support. It faked out here, and boom, it goes back up. Now it's above all of them, and it keeps playing this game. Once it breaks below the moving averages, now you can consider this to be in a sell. While there's above it, look, in this case, all of the price action is above all 3 moving averages. That's a strong buy indication, okay? Here it broke below it. Now it's below all 3 of them. Now this is a sell condition, okay? It comes back up, it can't go back past it. Goes back up, can't go past it, okay? And so you can also use the moving averages as examples as to where the action could reverse or could move forward. That's why you heard me say about the 50 moving average yesterday on GN. Once it couldn't break down below and it got on top, the action got on top of the 50, I took it for a buy because now the 50 is acting as support. Does that make sense? Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But these are the 3 moving averages that Jay uses. These are the ones he taught me to use. When I was doing stocks, I was doing the 9 moving average. Actually, they were all exponential, but the 20 and the 50, and also the 200. These are the ones that are mostly used by traders. And so it gives you a pretty good idea of what the thinking process is of the traders when it touches it. If you are in a very strong upswing, let me see if I can open this a little more. If you're in a very strong upswing, the 8 will provide you a great idea as to when to get in, okay? So here it's coming through, it broke through support, right? When can you get in on this action? Well, a good idea would be to wait for the 8 to touch it. So here it touches the 8, boom, it took back up, okay? Don't get in now, okay? You don't know if that's gonna hold or not. It keeps moving, keeps moving, keeps moving. Here it comes back, touches it again, good time to get in, boom. goes back up, da 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 da, on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Usually, if you are in a buy and you're using the 8 as your means of knowing when to get out, once it breaks through the 8, now you get out. So on this candle right here that broke, this candle broke, but this one is a confirmation that in fact it is now below. The action is now below. So now you get out here. But from where? From over here, when it mounted it, from here to there is 100 pips.
So sorry. What if it breaks? It breaks the 8 and then closes above it. Will you
Well, no,
consider
no.
that?
If it breaks the 8 but it closes above it, then it's still held.
It's still held. Okay.
Yeah. I would still consider that a buy situation in this scenario.
Okay.
And I have these circles marked here for a reason. I'll tell you in just a minute about it. But so yeah, so because some of them, as you can tell, this red one right here broke, but it closed above it and still bought. Here it closed. I mean, it came down and it closed right on it. And the next one is the one that really told me, okay, now we're getting out. Even though it mounted it again, there was just no risk. There's no reason for me to risk it. I'm already 100 pips up. Does that make sense? Okay. So these moving averages, I'm not using them anymore. I use the 50. Okay, because I'm a break, zone breakout trader. So but it can help you once you are in the trade. It can help you to see when to get out. Okay. Last night, well, this is last night, by the way. This is GN from last night. This is the 5-minute. And I put it at the 5 minutes so you can see it more clearly. But this is from last night. This is what we were looking at last night. Remember? I pointed out all these touches. When it got on top of the 50 right here, I took it. I took it for a buy, and I rode it all the way up to here. And I got out. Now I wish I didn't get out. Because look at what that did. Boom. I mean, that's just amazing move. That's I don't know how many, that's 200 pips probably move from last night. But having mounted that 50, I mean, all the moving averages, in fact, right here, it got on top of all the moving averages. Then you can just watch it here. You could have gotten out, I suppose, because it broke down. But if you were patient enough, because it never came down to your starting place, it hit the 20 and it moved back up. Okay. Moving averages can help, especially in the beginning when you're trying to figure out when to get in, when to get out of trades. But in combination, they're even more powerful. If you have a 50 moving average at a zone, that's super powerful. Okay. For example, right here. Okay, it broke below. We're now in a sell. We're in a sell. How long are we going to be in a sell? We don't know. Okay, comes back up, rejects, comes back up, rejects, comes back up, rejects, comes back up. At the zone, it got on top of the 8 and the 20. Okay, at the zone. That's a great buy sign. Okay, boom, it goes up. Now this is the 50. This is the 50, which turned red over here because it went below it. That's how I have it set up. Okay, the moment it goes above it, it turns blue again. Okay, so it mounted the 8 and the 20 for a buy. It breaks the 50. Now that tells traders, oh, we're in a strong buy. So more buyers jump in. Now it really goes back up. Okay. So moving averages combined with zones are very powerful combinations for buy or sell. Okay. Any questions related to that?
Could you
Other
show the fib sets up how the fib could be used to set up that buy with the moving averages?
Well, there is, how can I say, I don't have a fib here and we're not doing fib today.
Okay.
But let me see, hold on. Because Fib is a monster. Fib is another thing. But here, okay, so let's say we pull a fib here. Okay. All right. Let's see what happened. And again, this is the, okay, this is the 1H. Okay. Okay. So the action went up, 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 up. And this is how you do it, by the way. Again, if anybody has any questions on how to draw the fib, you do it from the moment that it ramped up, not down here, because that happened how many days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Here is when the move started. So you go from swing low to swing high because it is a bullish move. If it was a bearish move, then you would start from swing high to swing low. So swing low to swing high. You take the very wick, okay? You take even the wick, okay? And the top of the wick, all right? So that's pretty good. It went up and up and up. That's 100%. How far is it going to retrace before it keeps going back up? It hit the 23.6 here and went back up. Then it broke, hit 38.2, and it hovered there, and then it took back up. So this tells me, by the way, just looking at this alone, that if this breaks the top of this wick, this is going to really go for another ride because it's a shallow retracement. That's how you use the fib, okay? A retracement down to the 50, which, by the way, it almost hit the 50. So you could consider it almost hit the 50. It's a normal retracement. That's just normal. Came down to the 50 is normal. Breaks down to 61.8. That's still normal. In fact, the 61.8 is very strong. If it comes down here, usually it goes back up. But in this case, it broke. It never really came to the 50. It stayed around 38.2, and it went back up. That tells me it's a shallow retracement. Shallow retracement means strong continuation. Okay? That's how you interpret it. Strong continuation. So if it breaks over this zero line, you can see it go for a little while. And I would say up to the zone up here, at least. It may break more than that because, again, GBP has been so repressed. But okay, so looking at this, let's see where are the moving averages. Okay, so the 8 came here, looking at to see where it bounced. This is the 50. Okay, so here it mounted the 50, and it kept going. Okay, I can't see the 50 from there. See, that's another reason why. Let me see if I can open this up a little bit. Okay, I guess the 50 is down here. Is that right? The 50 is down here. So it came down, the fib came down to 38.2, didn't quite hit the 50. It tried, and maybe it didn't touch the 50% because the 50 moving average was there. Okay, but now the action is on top of the 20, on top of the 50, and on top of the 8. So not only is the fib telling us that this is a strong continuation, the action is also above the moving averages, and it's above the top zone. So yeah, I would say this is a strong continuation to the upside. That's how you would use it. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right, buddy. Let me move that out. Okay. So also, other things that act as support and resistance are flag patterns and channels. Okay. And let me, where did I have my, where did I put my flag? Let me see if it's here. No, I don't think that's a flag. I put some of these already in place so that, no, that's an example of something else. I'll tell you here in a minute. So let me look for a flag over here. Let me look for a flag pattern on a 4-hour. See if we can find one real quick. Okay. That didn't quite do it. Let's see. Okay, here's one. All right. So there's a ramp up, right? This is beautiful. Also, here's the 50 acting again as support. Okay. When that 50, when that price action got close to the 50 and the zone, it shot up. Okay. Now it's up here and it's forming this little flag. Okay. This is the pole, right? And this right here, let me see if I can write it up. I mean, it's almost a straight out. That's kind of a weird flag. It usually starts coming down a little bit. okay? But it's still a flag, okay? So basically, it looks like this. That's too much. I should have used the raise. Let me do the raise instead. Okay, right here. Okay, so like so, and like so. Okay, oops. I put it in the wrong place. Let me remove it. Okay, so you can see how this right here is like a flag, right? If you take this is the pole, and here's the flag. These are usually very strong buy signals. And in fact, it kind of broke down a little bit like this. This is what I ended up doing. More like the flag patterns that we're used to. Okay, it broke down over here. When it broke over that, it went up for a buy again. Okay, let me see if I find that. That is a bullish flag. Let me try to find a. Okay, here's one. So here's a strong down movement. All right, and then creates this kind of scenario. But basically where you have the pole, and then it creates this little banner right here, this little triangle. Okay. Now, the way this is supposed to work is it goes up, it goes up, goes up, goes up, and it breaks down, and it comes down. But in this case, action was close to support, and once it mounted it, and it got on top of the 50, it kept going. So as you can tell, there's lots of ways to make money. I mean, there's a lot of ways that which the market could go. It's the reason why we try to keep it real simple as just using the breakouts. But once you become more and more sophisticated, you'll be able to use like the moving average. In my case, the 50 is amazing. Here, I would have been looking for a sell. Okay, the action is below the 50. It had just done a breakdown. Okay, it came back up. I'm still looking for a sell, looking for a sell, looking for a sell. I'm thinking sell, but it broke over the 50. Forget it. This is a buy. And it went. The 50 is that strong, by the way. It's really, really strong. You see it. You see that over and over and over. If it breaks below the 50, forget it. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. And here, basically, I'm not taking any buys. Perhaps I can take a buy up to the 50, but I'm not taking any buys because of that 50. When it gets on top of that 50, then I'll take it. Otherwise, what I'm most likely to do is wait for these two to meet and take it for a sell. Okay? Because it's going to respect it. It hasn't even touched it yet. I mean, that's amazing. You know, it hasn't touched it yet. When it does, the first reaction is going to be a sell. Very likely. Okay? What else can I tell you? Oh, power moves. Okay, how to trade support and resistance. This is insightful, and this may help you because I found out kind of the hard way. And last night, GJ was a good example. Is this GJ? Yeah, this is GJ. I picked the right example of when not to trade the support and resistance, or when to wait on support and resistance based on the action. Usually power moves that go real strong up like this, that run into an area of resistance or support, the support resistance, are going to have a strong reaction the other way. Okay, so you see a strong ramp up all the way up past this one. By the way, it went past this one, but it hit this one and it became a wall. But I couldn't break it, it came back down. Okay, here, same thing. Strong move up. Boom, strong move up. Hit it, break down, break down, break down, break down, break down, break down. This is last night. This is me last night, losing money. Strong move up. Boom, This came up, strong move up. It pushed up and fake out, you know, lost money. I don't know where I got out somewhere in here, perhaps at the bottom of this, because I couldn't handle the pain no more. But those are good examples of if the price action is going really strong up into an area of resistance, what you can expect is a bounce back. Okay, that you're gonna find a reaction like this. If instead, let me see if I have it over here. If instead, did I draw it here? Which one is it that I drew it in? That's not the one. Maybe I use the same chart. If instead, let me see. Okay, did I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? I don't have it here. I'll look for it. I'll see if I can find one. If instead the action is moving slowly, stair-stepping, up, little by little, up, it's more likely that it's going to break through. If it breaks through here, you could take that buy, especially if it gets over the 50. There's the 50, okay? The 50 and that zone kind of tells me it's a sell, okay? But I'm just going to watch it. I'm just going to watch it and see what it does, okay? Because this action right here is a stair-stepping. It's more bullish than anything else, okay? If it goes up violently like this one, that's probably going to hit your wall and it's going to come back down, okay?
So just in case you're already on a buy and you have that sharp movement up, and are you advising that as long as it's approaching that zone, that line, we can end the trade and then wait till what it would do if it would break the line? Is that what you're advising?
Well, if you are down here and you took the buy, obviously that's your exit, right? This is where you get out.
As the exit.
But
okay.
yeah, if you got in down here and you took it all the way up, that's your out. Okay. Even though it got on the 50, it was such a strong move. This is something you'll notice with more experience. When let's say you're in a trade and you're trying to see how far it's going to go, you will see that just before it reverses, it does a strong impulse down. Let's say you're in a sell, it's coming down. It does a strong impulse down. Here's a good example right here. Okay, coming down. It's did a strong impulse down just to go back up. Okay. So you'll see that more and more. And you're in a trade and you're waiting, you're trying to see, okay, you're at 15 pips, you're trying to get 20. You're at 15 pips, 16 pips, 17 pips. It does one of those quick moves, get out. Take your 19, take your 19, you didn't get your 20, get your 19 and get out. Okay. Because it's going to react violently that way. Okay, it's happened over and over. And you may have to wait hours for it to come back down there. But so in this case, what I'm saying is, if you have a strong move upward like that, and you know this is resistance, okay, and it breaks through, wait for the confirmation. In this case right here, it broke through this green candle. You can't see it because of the shade. Let me see if I can move that out of the way. Let me take that out. This green candle broke, and when it broke, I took the buy. Okay, it went up for a little bit, and I'm thinking, yay, I'm winning. It faked me out, and wham, came back down. Okay, so what would have been better would have been wait for it to close, like this one did. It closed, but then I need a confirmation. And this one came back down and touched it. That could be the confirmation. Some people get in just when it touches it, but I'd rather see it close. Had I followed my rules, I would have not lost any money there, because I would have not even gotten in, because that next candle broke right through, okay, and faked me out, bottom line. Okay, it still looks like it's gonna be a buy. Like this is an uptrend. Obviously, we can tell that, right? That's an uptrend. And it's ladder stepping. It's going little by little, accumulating. But by the way, these are getting smaller. I don't like this for a buy now. The more I look at it, These are getting smaller. It's not ramping up into a momentum. But no matter what, when it gets to this corner right here, okay, it's going to do something. Okay, it's going to do something. It's going to react violently one way or another. It's going to go boom, or it's going to go this way. With the 50 there, I wouldn't take a buy unless it got on top of it. When it got on top of it, then I'm writing it all the way up to this line. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much all I have here. Do you have any questions?
Yes, Robert, I have a question. This is
Yes,
Chidinma.
ma'am. Hi, Chidinma.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to read the movement of the candles. Sorry, it might be a very stupid question. So, but sometimes, you said you wait for the candle to close. So when you say close, do you have to wait to see another candle coming up by the side of that one? Or I don't understand how to,
Okay, let me, if I'm reading you correctly, let's do this. Let's do a replay. Okay, hold on. Let's do a replay to what happened last night. Okay, oops. What's going on? I want to do the replay. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this candle came up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it broke the zone. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It effectively broke it. It closed above it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems to be a buy signal because it broke the zone, but you don't really know yet if that breaking the zone is going to actually hold or not. You need confirmation that this that used to be the ceiling is now the floor. So you wait for the next candle, okay?
Okay.
So the next candle comes up. Where is it? There you go. And it broke also up, but when it came back down, it closed below. So this right here, you waiting for the confirmation for it to close would have saved you money. Because this tells you that this is still the ceiling. This is not the floor yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to a lower time frame. 15 minutes. There's a lot of fake outs in the 15 minute. Here it is right here. Okay, here's another one. This just happened. Yeah, this just happened an hour ago. So here broke. In fact, that one broke. It went above it. This would have been your confirmation right here. In fact, for a buy. Okay, but it's really turned out to be a fake out because the next one took you down.
Mm-hmm.
But the 50 is acting as support. So even if you got in here, you may be on drawdown. Let's say you got in at the zone. This is why Jay always says, get in at the zone. Say you got in at the zone and you're now in drawdown. You're now in drawdown 26 pips, 25 pips. That's acceptable. Okay, a 30 pip drawdown is acceptable. That's not unusual. Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the 50 being there, I anticipate this is going to come back up. It's going to test it again. And when it comes back up to test it again, you can get out if you want to at break even, or wait to see if it actually breaks through. Because I anticipate that it will, based on the price action of what's doing here. Okay. It's squeezing. This 50 moving average is going to squeeze it right into that. Push it right up. Okay. So, but does that make sense? I don't know if that helped you or not.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Now
Because
again,
what I used to do, sometimes, this might make you laugh, sometimes I see the candle going and I look at it, I think, okay, it's halfway up, let me just get into the middle, and suddenly just turns around and, yeah.
right. No. Yeah, never get in the middle of a candle. No, because it'll fake you out over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you don't know, better to get in at the beginning or the end. You know what I mean? You either wait for it to close up here and take it for a sell, or it closes here and you take it for a buy. But if it's somewhere in the middle over here, don't.
Yeah.
And by the way, this shows you right here why the lower time frames can fake you out. this would be better on the 30-minute. That's not a fake out. See?
Mm.
On the 30-minute, that's not a fake out.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it is a fake out, but it's not. But you didn't get sucked into it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, here you did, but here you didn't. And then the 1 hour, it doesn't even. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? It broke. That's why a lot of traders trade on the 1 hour and up. I like the 1 hour. I like the 1 hour for break, and then I look for a retest on the 30-minute. If I'm looking for this break and I'm doing the retest on the 30-minute, I don't get faked out.
Okay,
That
so
makes
you
sense?
usually enter with the 30 minutes time frame.
Right. If you're doing the 1 hour, then you would enter the 30-minute.
Okay.
If you're doing the 30-minute, you were entering the 15.
4 hours. Okay.
Yeah. And then GBPs, a fake out can still give you all the pips you need. You know, it just didn't here. Let me see. How many did it give? Well, it did actually. That's 15 pips.
Mm.
You know, so that fake out gave everybody their pips that they were looking for. Here it did it again over here. You know, but by the way, that tells you that's a zone.
Okay.
Okay, that tells you that's a zone right there. Reject it, you know. So if I was taking this, I would move this over here. I would move it there and then make a little action right here as a zone. Now, okay, it got me last night, but it's not gonna get me tonight. You know what I mean? It's gotta break all the way through here, and then I'll take it. I'm not taking it otherwise. Does that answer your question, Shadima?
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank
Okay,
you very much.
awesome.
It does.
Anybody else? I'm gonna stop the recording here in just a minute. If anybody has a question about support and resistance, I'd like to answer it so that it's on the video. Go ahead.
Hello, Robert. To answer Chidima's question, I think if you could activate the candle closing timer, it will also help you to know when the candle is closing.
Oh, well,
I did that for MT4,
Well,
but I don't know how to do that in Trading View.
I did not know that was the question, but now that you say that, let me show you over here. It's right here. It's right here. This candle is about to close in 18 seconds. 16, 15, 14. Can you see it?
No,
Okay.
I can't see it.
Okay, I'm going to put an arrow. Hold on.
Okay, I've seen it.
Right there. You see it?
It's closed.
Okay.
And since this is the 15-minute chart, the next candle just started and it has 14 minutes and 50 seconds left.
40 seconds.
Please, can you show me again, please? Just
I can't see either.
I
Can you
can't see
see?
it.
Can you see the arrow?
The arrow.
Yeah, the arrow I just put.
Towards
Yes,
the right.
Okay. I think it's behind the.
Yeah,
Okay.
the profile pictures.
Let me see
Yeah.
if I can put hold on.
On the figures.
Let me see if it can go all the way over there. Yeah, it's in the numbers.
Okay.
This red line right here
Mhm.
is the price action line. Now it's green because it's bullish right now. When it turns south, it goes red and green, red and green, red and green. Right below it, see, right here.
I think the arrow that you're drawing is behind or images or pictures or profile
Yes.
photos.
Yes, exactly. So we can see
Oh, you
it.
can't see it.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's behind the pictures.
Just hit minimize on your screen, guys. Like right where you see the pictures are, just hit minimize and everything will go away. You'll see it.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm looking.
But
I'm
one
looking,
thing
I'm looking straight at it.
I'm seeing it. Yeah.
One thing I do when I'm on the 15-minute time frame, I just use the clock on my computer, 15, 40, 15, 30, 45, and an hour, like that. So
Yeah, something I used to do until I figured out that TradingView had it
If
right
it's-
here. Yeah, something I used to do before I figured out that TradingView had it right here was I opened a tab. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Time clock.
Okay.
Time clock. Where is it? Did I kick the right one? Shoot. That's not it. I don't think so. Nope. There is a time clock. Time.
something like a countdown.
Yeah, I gave up. But that's not it. Ah, man, I gotta find
A
it.
countdown.
When I find it, I'm gonna post it on the messenger. But basically, the entire page is just a clock,
Okay.
and you can and it's digital, so it's counting down the seconds and everything, and you can minimize it really, really small, and keep it on your desktop at all times. Okay. But what I do now, I just simply look over here to the right, and I see the time, and that's how much time is left on the candle, and now I know. Especially if you're especially if it's a ramping up real strong, or going down real strong, and it's going to close, and the hour candle is about to close. That's usually a good point to get out, because that hour candle, you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, but there's going to be a reaction. Especially if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, is going to have a reaction. So just some final thoughts. Okay, I'm gonna stop the sharing. Any other questions? Let me stop the share and let me stop the recording.